with that assembled, we need to ensure that the Y rod has got about 1 to 2 millimeters of movement either side. And that's important, so when we do assemble everything up in terms of the pulleys, tightening them up, we need to even that up. So we've got a little bit of clearance either side, so the bearings and the pulleys are not rubbing against the inside edge of the supports. At this point as well, it's good to check the smoothness of the rod rotating within all the fixings. Okay, next we need to attach the 2 bearings for the belt. So we've got the one which is going on the left hand front, and we've got the other one which is going on the right hand front, which has got this extra little piece. I'll just show you up against the camera. So it's been plastic welded onto it, and then that is where we're going to mount the Y end stop. It clips in nicely onto there. So that's going to be fastened onto this one, and that one fastened onto the other one using the M3 screws. Okay, so now that we've fastened the bearings on the right hand front and the left hand front, we can continue now to put the belt on. So now we come on to the fitting of the belt. So this side I've already done, and this side I haven't. Now the fitting of the belt onto here is actually quite tricky because we sort of thread the belt through there and through the pulley wheel. Now sometimes it's easier to actually just take that pulley wheel back off. Yeah, it depends on whether or not you can get that bent round enough and pulled through just through force. Sometimes I'm successful, sometimes I get frustrated, so I'll just take the pulley wheel back off and I'll thread it through. So I'll probably show you, I'll show you with the pulley wheel off because that is the easiest way. But as I say, it is a little bit complicated the way in which we have to route the belt. So what we're going to do, we're going to undo the actual belt clamp. And also the belt clips. The one we will remove completely, but the other one we will just undo. So we use that as the first part of us to hold the belt tight in order to stretch it through. So we're just stacking them ones up there. Just pull the back up, that's come off anyway, so not to worry. Just get that hose back into position. Now the length of the belt is actually the width of that from there to there twice. So we'll cut the belt. Now the belt has obviously got to run round the pulley wheel like that, and it's the top one that runs freely whilst the bottom one is what we're going to fasten. The way in which we fasten that is it actually goes underneath into them groove mounts there and into that. So we're going to put that through the opposite way first, so put that down. What we need to do is get the belt so it's just level with the bottom of the belt clamp. So once we've got that, we'll tighten that up. So once we've got that through and it's just nice and level at the bottom there, we'll now tighten that up. And then we'll just hold that down, get it onto the teeth, like so, and then we're going to get that threaded around the pulley wheel. that way. Now that's came through, use my drill bit, and I've got that through. So what I need to do now is, because I've gone through the top piece, actually I'm going to have to undo that and put it back onto this one. So instead what I'll do now is pull that down there. Same again, making sure that it's just nice and level with the bottom there. Hold that. Passing that back in. Okay, so that's going to be the bottom one fastened. We can now pull that back through. Now, it don't matter about that for the moment, but at this point what we do need to do is we need more of the slack up this end, so we're going to pull that all the way through, pulling that through. Okay, now we're going to undo this bearing, and then what we do is we make the loop, making sure that the top is obviously going through the passing through that part there. So just make a loop, pass that in, and then re-put the bearing in so it's inside the loop, the pulley wheel bearing. Tighten that back up. Okay. And then what we'll do now is we'll make sure that we push that back. Get that as far forward as possible. Clip that in. Pull it through. Pull that through. And so this is how this is done into the lap round. Like so. So what we need to do now is, using some pliers, we need to get onto the end of that. Get it nice and secure as possible. Using our finger, force that in. Get it caught on the teeth, pull it round. And then utilising our centre clamp, we're going to position that down. And then tighten that up. That's the clamp held in. You can see we've now got some tension on that. Just need to force the screw in a bit more. That's fine. And now, using a little clamp, just need to tidy that up, just to hold the end in. And if everything is measured up correctly, you should be back at the same position, whereas the actual belt itself is just attaching onto the very bottom level with the bottom. Now, at this point, don't worry too much if the axes are out of sync, because by undoing the grub screw just on the pulley wheel in there, we can make any little adjustments, fine adjustments that we want to make sure that the rail is all running in synchronicity or in synchro with each other. But you can see there, look, turn that, we get a nice action now for our Y-axis. So when the motor is attached onto there and we've tightened up that belt, you can see then how that whole unit turns. And just to show you what the tension is like on the belt, it's not really tight. And same on the other side. Okay, next thing we're going to move on is onto the Z rails.